Great. Well, welcome everybody to our Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 Board of County Commissioners Land Use Meeting and Public Hearing. I will call the meeting to order. If you'll all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that. Attorney Garcia, do we have certification of the agenda today?
You do, sir. The County Attorney's Office reviewed all items on the agenda. You have appropriate jurisdiction over these matters, and where appropriate, notice has been given.
Great, thank you. And do any commissioners have disclosures for items on this agenda?
No.
And I have none either. With that, we'll move on to item 2, which is our land use meeting and public hearing agenda items. Item 2A is the Sundown Oaks Metropolitan District New Service Plan, Project File SV 2025-005. DJ Beckwith, Principal Planner, presenting for staff. Hey, DJ.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. The project before you is a new service plan for Sundown Oaks Metropolitan District. Project number is SV 2025-005. I'm DJ Beckwith, representing Planning Resources. The applicant representative is Nicole Paykoff. The application is a request for an approval of a new service plan application for Sundown Oaks Metropolitan District. The proposed district would include the powers to provide the services listed on the slide and in the staff report. The Board of County Commissioners created and adopted guidelines for processing and reviewing special district service plan applications in compliance with Title 32. Applications are sent to referral agencies for comment and review. All comments are provided to the applicant to address outstanding issues. Applications are heard by the Planning Commission and then Board of County Commissioners at public hearings. At a public meeting on August 4th of 2025, the Planning Commission recommended denial of the service plan by a vote of 6-2, citing approval criteria related to financial viability, compliance with the comprehensive master plan, need for the district, and if a district is in the best interest of the area to be served. In response to the Planning Commission comments, the applicant submitted a revised service plan with reduced debt limit. Members of the public spoke in opposition of the proposed district, citing concerns over the use of a metropolitan district and impacts to groundwater. The district is located in Franktown Rural Community as defined in the 2040 Comprehensive Master Plan and marked by a star on this slide. The district is zoned rural residential and outlined in red on the slide above. It is located north of State Highway 86 and east of Highway 83. The property in the proposed district is zoned rural residential. The district is anticipated to have 37 residential lots and is expected to have a population of 111 residents at build-out. The average home value will be approximately $2.2 million. District revenues are proposed to be primarily from property taxes and may also rely upon other revenue sources such as fees, rates, tolls, penalties, or charges. The estimated total mill levy cap is 70 mills. The proposed initial debt service mill levy is 50 mills, with initial operations and maintenance mill levy of 10 mills with a maximum of 20. The debt service mill levy term is for 40 years. The total authorized debt limit is $6 million. The estimated cost improvements is over $9 million. The district anticipates receiving initial funding for both capital and ongoing administrative requirements for developer advances. Anticipated developer advances total $9 million, of which $5 million is anticipated to be reimbursed by the districts. The project was sent out on referral from June 4th to June 18th. Most referral responses had no comment on the proposed service plan. Douglas County Planning staff requested technical revisions. The applicant submitted a revised service plan to address these comments. Douglas County Engineering Services requested that clarifying language be added so that storm sewer and street improvements would all be subject to the approval of Douglas County. The applicant updated the language and engineering had no additional comments. Bannockburn HOA commented that all lots should be 5 acres to coincide with the current Franktown area zoning standards. Bannockburn also had concerns regarding traffic, road uses, and the use of wells in the Upper Dawson Aquifer. Franktown Citizens Coalition provided a comment letter stating concerns regarding the impacts that a metropolitan district would have on the Franktown rural community, citing the ability of a metro district to use the power of eminent domain and stating it would conflict with the needs of the community. Russellville Home and Property Owners Association provided a comment letter in opposition to the district, stating concerns of the impact of a metropolitan district and impacts to groundwater. BBC Research and Consulting reviewed the market study and commented that the absorption analysts in the study makes unsupported assumptions on this estimated market demand for higher priced houses and questioned whether these projections would be realized. The applicant provided a revised market study to address these comments. BBC reviewed the revised market study and concluded that if the assumptions prove accurate, the district will be well positioned to generate sufficient property tax and fee revenues to support the proposed debt structure. Hilltop Securities reviewed the proposed service plan and concluded that, given the assumptions in the financial plan, it is reasonable that the district will be capable of extinguishing all bonds within the parameters established in the service plan. Wolfenberger LLC provided a comment letter on behalf of citizens citing concerns with projected developer profits and the need for a metro district. Additional public comments were received in opposition to the proposed metro district to include a petition with over 700 signatures in opposition to the proposed metro district. Staff's assessment of the proposed service plan as it relates to the criteria has been detailed in the staff report. The Colorado Revised Statutes specify criteria for approval for special district plans. The board must consider the following 9 criteria in evaluating the service plan. In response to number 1, the area encompassed by the district boundaries is currently zoned rural residential, and there is a projected need for the district. In response to number 2, the existing public service infrastructure within the proposed district boundaries area are lacking. Therefore, existing services are inadequate for the project's needs of the service area. Number 3, based upon comments from the county's financial consultant, the service plan demonstrates that the district can provide these services economically. In response to number 4, based on comments from the county's financial consultant, the service plan demonstrates that the district's revenues, as projected in the financial plan, would be sufficient to discharge the proposed indebtedness. Number 5, no entities are able or willing to provide all the services desired within a reasonable time or on a comparable basis. Number 6, all facilities will be constructed in concordance with the standards of the county and any other applicable local, state, or federal rules and regulations. Number 7, the service area of the district falls within the Franktown rural community of the Comprehensive Master Plan. The density of the proposed district is consistent with the area of the county based on the standards of the preliminary plans previously approved. The Comprehensive Master Plan also outlines goals for Franktown rural community that support maintaining Franktown's historically rural character and preserving existing vegetation. The proposed development, which will be served by the proposed district, supports these concepts by setting aside 50% open space to preserve existing vegetation and natural features on the site. Goal 5-3 of the 2040 Comprehensive Master Plan promotes the sustainability of special districts, including ensuring that special districts are financially sound through the independent evaluation of all financing plans. The county works closely with third-party consultants to evaluate the financial feasibility of all new special districts and special district amendments. In response to number 8, based on information provided by the applicant, the district is in compliance with the Colorado Water Quality Management Plan. Number 9, based upon the level of services proposed for the area and lack of services provisions from existing service providers in the area, the district appears to be in the best interest of the area proposed to be served. Should the board find that the application complies with the criteria found at Colorado Revised Statute Title 32, the board may approve. This concludes my presentation. The applicant representative, Nicole Paykov, is here with the presentation as well.
Thank you, DJ. Any questions for staff? Okay, I don't have any questions either. We'll invite the applicant to come up and make their presentation, please.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you, Board Chair and Commissioner Van Winkle. My name is Nicole Paykoff. I'm here on behalf of the applicant for the Sundown Oaks Metropolitan District. Here with me today is Stephen Gage with North Star Custom Homes, the applicant, and Michael Persichidi from RBC Capital Markets. We are here today to ask that you consider the approval of the service plan for the Sundown Oaks Metropolitan District. With the presentation today, we will discuss the statutory criteria that must be met in order for you to approve the service plan for the Sundown Oaks Metropolitan District. In addition, we hope to address the concerns that were raised at Planning Commission.
And council, as you proceed, first, thank you for that. Is this different than in any way from what the Planning Commission has reviewed?
We have added a little bit of information to our presentation today to address, primarily to address the concerns that were raised at Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you for that.
Mr. Chair, if I could.
Yes, sir.
Has the plan itself changed, though, since the Planning Commission?
We have changed one part of the service plan after the Planning Commission hearing, which I'll discuss today, but we reduced the debt limit from $9 million to $6 million.
Okay.
And I'll explain that a little bit further in a bit.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So the district location of the Sundown Oaks Metropolitan District is in the Franktown sub-area of Douglas County. This is northeast of Highway 86 and 84. The district will consist of approximately 173 acres of undeveloped land. The only other special district that covers this area is the Franktown Fire Protection District. As Mr. Beckwith noted, the property is already zoned rural residential. The county has approved a preliminary plan for this project. 37 single-family homes are anticipated with an average value of approximately $2.2 million. The lot sizes, per the county-approved preliminary plan, consist of 17 lots, which will be located on 2-acre lots that are surrounded by 40 acres of open space, and then 20 of the homes will be on 5-acre lots. These densities and the amount of open space dedicated preserve Franktown's rural character, as well as the wildlife and existing vegetation. Full build-out is expected in 2032. Each home will have its own groundwater well and its own on-site wastewater treatment system. One of the concerns that was raised during the Planning Commission was whether there was sufficient water rights to serve the project. The county has already established the water rights are sufficient to serve the project, but for your information, I've listed here that the project demand has been determined to be 40.1 acre feet, and the total available water is 52.3 acre feet in the Upper Dawson Aquifer, plus an additional 219.4 acre feet in Lower Dawson, Denver, Arapahoe, and Laramie Fox Hill aquifers. The purpose of the Sundown Oaks Metropolitan District will serve two primary purposes. During the development phase, the Metropolitan District will finance the public improvements that are needed to serve the project, including the Highway 86 turn lane, which we'll get to in a moment. And the public improvements will be financed with public financing tools that would be available to the Metro District to lower the overall costs. In addition, the Metro District is anticipated to construct the public improvements. Upon build-out, the Metropolitan District will replace the role of an HOA and perform those functions at a lower cost. The functions that an HOA would otherwise provide for this particular development would be to operate and maintain the facilities and improvements that are not otherwise dedicated to another governmental entity or other entity, including open space, stormwater facilities, trail maintenance, and snow removal services. In addition, we anticipate that the district would provide covenant enforcement and design review services in place of an HOA. There was some discussion at the Planning Commission about the purpose of the Metropolitan District in place of an HOA, and I have additional information later in the presentation that'll go into this a little bit further. The applicant has assembled the costs of the public improvements that are needed to serve the site that you see here by soliciting bids for each portion of the project that needs to be built. I've highlighted the Highway 86 turn lane improvements. The bid for that work came in at $2.2 million, which includes the soft costs for that work. The applicant would like to use the tax-exempt bonds that would be available to the Metro District to spread these costs out over time, which would then result in a lower home price for the home buyers, which the home prices are already quite high for this particular development. The next few slides depict the public improvements that will be constructed for this site. Again, the property is undeveloped. As you can see here, the internal roads will be built throughout the site. Traffic improvements will be needed, and at the south end of this map, you can see the turn lane on Highway 86 that the applicant would be required to construct. Next are the drainage improvements, and you can kind of see the detention ponds that will be spread throughout the project, which will facilitate the drainage on the property. And then finally, the park and recreation improvements, which entail trails and open space, and that 40 acres of open space that I mentioned earlier. The service plan sets forth how the district will pay for the public improvements and the ongoing services. We have proposed a maximum debt authorization of $6 million. Originally, we had proposed $9 million to align with those public improvement costs. However, given the development assumptions that we have and the information we have today, it's more realistic that the district will only be able to issue debt in an amount not to exceed $6 million. So we lowered that cost to reflect that in reality, if interest rates would decrease and home values increase, there's a possibility that the district could issue up to $6 million in debt. We'll get further into the financial plan that's attached to the service plan to show what actually could occur today. The maximum debt maturity term is 30 years. The district will be limited to imposing a debt service mill levy for 40 years. And the maximum mill levies will be 50 mills for debt service, and O&M will be set at 20 mills. The total combined mill levy would be 70 mills for this project as proposed. Here we've set forth a calculation of the district tax impact on a $2.2 million home. The existing mill levy on the property is 86.184 mills. If you layer on the 70 mills from the district, you get 156.184 mills. As you can see at the bottom of the calculation, this comes out to about $1,800 of taxes owed per month on a $2.2 million home. Again, these are high-value homes, so it's a little bit higher taxes than we see usually. One of the questions raised during the Planning Commission was about the administrative costs of maintaining a metropolitan district. To help explain why a metro district is more efficient than an HOA, we've provided this comparison of the costs of an HOA versus a metro district and the fees or taxes imposed respectively. A nearby HOA just south of this project that was recently formed imposes $195 per month on the homeowners. If the district here, Sundown Oaks, imposes its maximum O&M mill levy, it comes out to $229 per month. As we've stated in the service plan, we anticipate this district only imposing 10 mills for operations and maintenance, which would cover the snow removal, the trail maintenance, the open space, and the stormwater operations and maintenance costs. And that equals $115 per month, significantly less than what it costs for the nearby homeowners subject to the HOA fees. RBC Capital Markets prepared the financial plan that's attached to the service plan. The financial plan sets forth an example of how the district can finance the public improvements and pay off the debt. As part of our submittal, we submitted an independent market study to justify the assumptions that were used in the financial plan. The county's consultants reviewed both the financial plan and market study, as Mr. Beckwith mentioned, and found that both the financial plan and market study were reasonable. Mr. Persichidi is here to answer any questions specific to the financial plan, but the assumptions are set forth here and a little bit repetitive of what I just mentioned, but the maximum mill levies, the debt capacity are all listed here. And then the estimated bond issuance, if the district issues bonds, likely would happen after all the homes are built, would be $3.6 million. That doesn't quite cover all of the public improvement costs that the developer and applicant would incur, but it would significantly help with moving this project forward. And again, this is set at a 50 mills for a 30-year term. Once the district starts imposing that debt service mill levy, even if the bonds are refinanced, it's capped at 40 years to repay those bonds. Otherwise, they'd be discharged after that point. Another concern that was raised at the Planning Commission was whether or not metropolitan districts are subject to transparency and accountability and disclosure requirements. I wanted to clarify on the record that indeed, metropolitan districts have several requirements when it comes to transparency and disclosure. Those are set forth not only in state statute, but also in the county's special district policy, to which this district would be subject to. I've listed all of those requirements here. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I believe you both are familiar with these requirements. And then finally, before I summarize the criteria that you're asked to consider today, I wanted to explain a little bit further why we're asking to form this district and why we want to use a metropolitan district instead of a homeowners association, which is commonly used in this area. First, metro districts are tax exempt, which means that they can purchase materials for the public improvements without paying sales or use tax. They also don't pay ad valorem property taxes on the property and facilities that they own. HOAs are not, this is not available for HOAs. Metro districts, like the county, enjoy the protections of the Colorado Governmental Immunity Act. This lowers the cost of acquiring insurance that will be needed to protect the homeowners from liability. Again, this is not available to HOAs. Metro districts also lower the costs of financing the public improvements through public financing tools like tax-exempt bonds. This can happen at a much lower rate than what would otherwise be available through a construction loan or other private financing. Again, this is not available for HOAs. And then finally, as I just mentioned, metro districts are subject to several transparency and disclosure requirements under state law and the county's special district policy. Metropolitan District Board members are also subject to regular elections with additional disclosure requirements. None of these are required for HOAs. Just to be a little bit repetitive of Mr. Beckwith's presentation, I would like to emphasize that we do believe that we've met the criteria under law that you are required to review. The first four criteria is set forth here. First, there's a sufficient existing and projected need for organized service in the area to be serviced by the Sundown Oaks Metro District. The proposed public improvements are not available through the county or any other governmental entity within a reasonable time or comparable basis. To develop the area, significant investment is needed in public infrastructure. As we've noted, the land is undeveloped, and the county is requiring a turn lane be installed on Highway 86. Financing and construction of the infrastructure through the district will lower these costs and ensure that the costs are spread out among the community that will benefit from such development. The existing service in the area to be served by the proposed district is inadequate for present and projected needs. Again, there are no other governmental entities in the vicinity that consider it feasible or practical to undertake the planning, design, acquisition, construction, installation, and financing of the public infrastructure needed to serve the property. The Franktown Fire Protection District does cover this area, but they are unwilling to provide the fire mitigation services that are needed for this property. The proposed district is capable of providing economical and sufficient service to the area within its boundaries. The district will ensure that the public improvements are constructed within a reasonable time when they're needed and will benefit the community. And again, the costs of the public infrastructure will be lower. The area to be included in the proposed district has or will have the financial ability to discharge the proposed indebtedness on a reasonable basis. The district will be limited to issuing debt within the confines of the service plan and limited to the amount the district can reasonably pay from the revenue derived from the debt service mill levy and any other legally available revenue. And that's determined when the district issues bonds and what the market dictates. The financial plan attached to the service plan is an example of how the district may finance the public improvements in a reasonable manner. And then finally, the 5 statutory criteria that you may consider as well today are listed here. Adequate service is not or will not be available to the area through the county or any other existing governmental entity within a reasonable time or comparable basis. The facility and service standards of the district are comparable or will be compatible with the county's facility and service standards. The proposal is in substantial compliance with the county's comprehensive master plan. Mr. Beckwith did go into more detail about how the CMP is met through the service plan, but I'd like to mention that the applicant believes that the proposal is compatible with the community vision for the future and complies with the policies necessary to achieve sustainable growth within the county, as expressed in the CMP. The density of the proposed district is consistent with 1 dwelling unit per 5 acres, based on the standards set forth in the preliminary plan when it was approved in 2019. In addition, the proposed district supports the CMP by maintaining 50% open space for the property. And the proposal is in compliance with the Colorado's Water Quality Management Plan. And then finally, the criteria that may get a little bit misinterpreted at times is the creation of the district will be in the best interest of the area to be served. To develop the land as proposed in the preliminary plan, the proposed improvements are needed. There are no other governmental entities in the area, including the county, that will construct these improvements, and the applicant has determined that the public financing tools that are available to the Metro District are needed for this project. The area to be served the area to be served is the property within the district's boundaries, not nearby properties. The protection for nearby properties comes from the fact that the proposal substantially complies with the county's CMP. Additionally, because the Metro District is needed to provide access to public financing tools, the applicant desires to take advantage of the efficiencies of a Metro District and from an operations and maintenance standpoint, and use the Metro District to perform the functions that would otherwise be done by an HOA at a lower cost. As I mentioned, Mr. Gage and Mr. Persicchiti are also here if you have any questions related to the development or the financial plan, as well as myself. Thank you very much for your time.
Great, thank you, counsel. Any questions for the applicant?
No, Mr. Chair, but if I could just ask for a momentary pause so I can confer with our attorney.
Sure, we'll take a moment.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate that. And what I was asking of our attorney and what I was trying to get clarification on is the plan that's before us today, which is a $6,070,000 40-year plan, seems just so very different than that the Planning Commission saw recently, which was a 6-2 vote against. I don't see, well, I have opinions on the validity of this plan of my own from the presentation that we got in the staff report. But actually, Mr. Chair, I would be in favor of a motion to remand it back to the Planning Commission so that they would actually have a chance to review the plan as is today, which is so very different than the plan that they had prior.
Well, thank you, Commissioner, for that thought process. Having served, well, I mean, having been a commercial real estate attorney and then served on the Planning Commission before I was a commissioner, I think we really value the service of that board. and it's rare to see such a significant denial from the Planning Commission. So that's certainly compelling to me. I think, the opportunity to review the modifications from a Planning Commission standpoint makes sense. We also have the latitude here to make a decision. So I'll defer to your predilection on this at this point.
Well, it would be, I wouldn't mind making the motion at all to send it back to the Planning Commission, let them review the plan as is, which is very different.
Okay. I will entertain that motion.
Okay, so, Mr. Chair, I move to stay, let's see. I move to stay this hearing and remand it back to the Planning Commission.
Counsel.
I think staff actually may have some additional information regarding the election on this. So if we could, if you don't mind, Ms. Carter.
Thank you. This is Katie Carter for staff. The applicant may have some input regarding the schedule of the hearings for this item because they do face election deadlines for the November election. So I may ask the applicant to give you some more information along those lines.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. If I may, for the election that we're hoping to make in November, we need to have a decision by the Board of County Commissioners by the end of this month to be able to proceed to an election.
Okay, so the question for council and for staff from a scheduling standpoint, if this gets remanded back to the Planning Commission, is there enough time sufficient for our board to review this application?
This is Katie for staff. The next Planning Commission hearing is September 22nd, and the last regular scheduled Board of County Commissioners hearing of the month is September 23rd. I'll confer with the applicant if the September 23rd hearing date would be sufficient for those deadlines.
I believe that'll be sufficient timing to make the election.
Okay, thank you, staff. And I think that's what we heard from council is if we get it knocked out in September, assuming that we do, that will come back on the 23rd. So that I imagine that will provide sufficient time. So we do have a first or a motion on the floor. I will second that motion. Any further discussion? Yeah, I think the modifications are so substantial that it would be worthwhile to get a recommendation from the Planning Commission before we review that. Again, their decision was a pretty pronounced denial, so I think we'd be curious as a board to have their input. They put a lot of work into reviewing the thousands of pages included in the packet. So I will be supportive of the motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that carries unanimously. Thank you very much. With that, we're going to move on to the next item for our land use meeting and hearing items. We've got two items that have been requested to be continued. Item 2B, which is acceptance of 3 ROW and 3 slope and drainage easements for hammerhead turnarounds associated with the Twin Mesa Metro District Road vacation request. Douglas County project number DV 2025-300. Brad Jackson from Public Works presenting for staff. Brad? Eric Pavlinek. Not Brad.
Eric Pavlik, representing Planning Services. Items 2B and C, the applicant district, the Twin Mesa Metropolitan District, requested continuance of the Board of County Commissioners hearing to September 23rd, 2025 at 2:30 p.m. Due to scheduling conflicts.
Great, thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to continue an acceptance of 3 row and 3 slope drainage easements for hammerhead turnaround association with the Twin Mesa Metro District's vacation request, Douglas County project number DV 2025-300, and the continuation would be to September 23rd at 2:30 p.m.
Okay, great. So I'll second that motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that passes unanimously, 2-0. We'll move on to item C, which is Twin Oaks Roads and Clark's Circle Road vacations, project filed SB 2025-026. Eric Pavlinek presenting for staff, also a request to be continued, correct? It looks like we might have lost Eric. Jeanette, do you have this one?
Yes, there is a request to continue the item, the road vacation, and then the associated easements and things like that. There is a request to continue, and I don't know if I have the the date. I think it's on your agenda. Sorry
We
about that.
have it for September 23rd, 2025. Is
That
that going to
sounds
work?
right.
Okay.
At 2:30.
And Mr. Chair, for those who might be watching online or in the room, we here at Douglas County, we're very thorough, very thoughtful, and we don't really move extremely fast when it comes to the topic of land use. So in a thoughtful manner, we are continuing this as well. So therefore, Mr. Chairman, I move to continue the Twin Oaks Road and Clark's Circle Road Vacations Project File CB 2025-026 to September 23rd at 2:30 p.m.
And I'll second that motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that passes unanimously 2-0. Our next item is item 2D, which is 3879 North State Highway 83, amended 5-year Lone Creek Farms Fall Festival Major Entertainment Event, project file EE 2025-009. Matt Jacobowski presenting for staff. Hi, Matt.
Good afternoon. Pardon me, I just need a second to pull up the presentation. The item before you is an amendment to a 5-year major entertainment event request at 3879 North State Highway 83, project number EE 2025-009. Brad Witherell is here as property owner and applicant. The applicant is requesting approval of an amendment to its existing 5-year major entertainment event at 3879 North State Highway 83. This amendment adds only Wednesday and Thursday to the previously approved event, which was from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So again, this is adding only Wednesday and Thursday to their previous approval. But because of the significance of that change, adding those event days, they require a revisitation at the Board of County Commissioners. If approved, the Wednesday and Thursday event days would apply through the terms of the previously approved 5-year period through 2027. As it is now, the event operates from late September to late October or early November, depending on the weekend that falls around the Halloween weekend. This year's event is proposed September 19th to November 2nd. So same activities, same structures, same proposal, except adding Wednesday and Thursday. The applicant in the staff report provided some estimates as far as attendance and traffic, and it's significantly less than weekends, as you might imagine, as the proposal is primarily for school groups to visit the festival. So the applicant estimates that there'd be about only 5 to 10% of peak attendance during weekends. So just to provide some background. For some further background, this same property had a 5-year major entertainment event approval in 2018. As well as the 5-year approval in 2023 that I just mentioned. And then just some background as well on major entertainment events, which are the portions of our events that go to the board. In the case of a major entertainment event, if it's a one-day event in excess of 500 persons, or an event greater than 7 days in excess of 300 persons, it goes to the board. In addition, if it's a 5-year proposal, then it automatically requires board consideration. In this case, being that it was a 5-year approval and they're adding those event days, which is a significant change, the applicant is here before the board. The major entertainment event process is outlined on this slide. The applicant submits an application and there's a referral period that goes to generally homeowners associations and fire district, health department, sheriff's office, state patrol, if it's on a state highway, those kinds of entities. The applicant will obtain a Colorado State Patrol special event permit for uniform traffic control, being that it's located on Highway 83. As per previous events, there's some temporary uses in the floodplain the applicant is requesting a floodplain development permit from engineering, which has happened before. Most of the comments were standard in nature related to permits and the like. The Burning Tree Ranch HOA did express some concerns with traffic that occurs during peak times of the event and provided some comments that indicated there were some driving behaviors and other situations that occurred on Highway 83. And the Burning Tree Ranch indicated that regardless of whether traffic control is there or not, there seems to be some problems there. Following the board's decision, just for some additional background, the applicant will require any walkthroughs, inspections, or other permits prior to the event. Oftentimes, the nature of an entertainment event process is that would happen maybe the few days before the event starts as things are being set up. So that would happen this year and would happen in successive years prior to each event start, even though they would not require additional board hearings in the next few years of the term. The proposal is located in Franktown, roughly between the Pinery and Franktown. More specifically, the site is at Castle Oaks Drive and Highway 83. It's generally surrounded by some large lot residences and other agricultural properties, although there is a subdivision in the town of Castle Rock to the west. And then just for some perspective, this is the exhibit that the applicant has approved. This is not changing, but wanted to show that the bulk of the event is to the east side along Highway 83 with parking to the south. Again, that does not change. This is only a proposal for adding Wednesday and Thursday to the event. There's some limited activity, hay rides that go in the floodplain area. And this slide provides the major entertainment event approval standards that the board utilizes for determination of entertainment events. More detail is described in pages 5 and 6 of the staff report. There are quite a few conditions. It's necessary to restate these as it still applies to the rest of the term. But staff has evaluated the application in accordance with Section 22B, which is the entertainment event section of the zoning resolution. Should the board find that the approval standards are met, the following conditions would apply. Condition number 1, a major entertainment event is approved Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from September 19th, 2025 through November 2nd, 2025, and in successive years in late September to late October or early November 2026 and 2027 as described in the staff report and attached narrative. Proof of inspections, permits, approvals, and agreements from all applicable agencies and county departments shall be submitted prior to the start of the event in 2025 and prior to the event in successive years through 2027. Condition number 2, if the applicant proposes significant changes to the duration of the event, event structures, event activities, number of participants, or other aspects of the event proposal, a new entertainment event permit approval may be required at the discretion of Douglas County. Condition number 3, prior to final event permit issuance, the applicant shall provide evidence of an approved contract for services from CSP for traffic control. Condition number 4, prior to final event permit issuance, the applicant shall obtain a floodplain development permit from Douglas County Public Works Engineering. Condition number 5, prior to final event permit issuance, the applicant shall obtain any required permits and complete an event inspection with the Franktown Fire Protection District. Condition number 6, prior to final event permit issuance, the applicant shall obtain any required building and electrical permits and complete an inspection with the Douglas County Building Division. Condition number 7, prior to final event permit issuance, copies of valid retail food establishment licenses for all food vendors serving the event shall be provided to the Douglas County Health Department. Condition number 8, all temporary structures located in the floodplain shall be removed after conclusion of the event as stipulated in the floodplain development permit. And condition number 9, all commitments and promises made by the applicant or the applicant's representative during the public meeting and/or agreed to in writing and included in the public record have been relied upon by the Board of County Commissioners in approving the application. Therefore, such approval is conditioned upon the applicant's full satisfaction of all such commitments and promises. This is just the section from the zoning resolution that provides the direction on the board. The board may approve approve with conditions, continue or table for further study. This concludes staff's presentation. I'm available for questions regarding the staff report. Otherwise, we have the owner and operator of the festival, Brad Witherill, who has any questions that you may have of him.
Matt, thank you for that presentation. You bet. Any questions of staff? Okay, I don't have any either. We'll invite the applicant to come up and make their presentation. Welcome.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Brad Witherill, and I am the owner of Lone Creek Farms. And we were talking to, thank you, Matt, for a great job. We just needed the Wednesdays and Thursdays. We've got quite a bit of school kids coming for the field trips, and it's kind of a cool deal. The teachers bring them to the farm, and it's usually 3 to 4 hours, and they get to see what farm life is like. We kind of have a curriculum where we talk about the cycle of the life animals, the farm animals, and we actually even talk about the Colorado history of gold mining and silver mining. We put them on a hay wagon, we take them down to the river and let them pan for gold, things like that. And there's just not enough days available, so we really needed the Wednesday and Thursday for the school trips. And then a lot of times the parents or the siblings would want to come, so we kind of opened it up to the general public as well. So that's the reason we needed these extra few days. And again, the lion's share is just for the school field trips.
Great.
And I didn't know if you had any questions for me other than that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Witherill. Any questions of the applicant? I don't have any questions. Thank you for that. I'm going to open it up for any citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment with regard to this item?
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. Troy, do we have any citizen comment online?
Thank you, Commissioner. I have no online comment.
Okay, thank you. So with that, I'll bring it back to the board for any further discussion or a motion. And actually, I apologize, Commissioner. Mr. Witherill, let me just ask you, and if you want to come up for the record, are you comfortable with the 9 conditions, and do you accept the 9 conditions as presented?
Yes, we've done those 9 conditions since day one, so
Okay.
absolutely, yeah.
Just wanted to confirm that on the record. Thanks so
Okay,
much.
sounds good.
Commissioner?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair. And in full disclosure, my family, my kids go out every year to the Fall Festival, love it, and thrilled to see them here before us today, remaining here in Douglas County and keeping strong and getting even bigger, it sounds like. And so with that, I move to approve 3879 North Highway 83, amended 5-year Lone Creek Farm Festival major entertainment event because it does meet all the approval criteria with the conditions presented. How many?
9.
With the 9 conditions presented, project file EE 2025-009.
Thank you, Commissioner, and I'll second that motion and speak in favor of it. In general, from a philosophical standpoint, some of the really significant events that happen throughout the year just add to the flavor and the character and the culture of our community. So when done well, and I think in concert with the great work of staff, some of these events can really be wonderful for Douglas County. I know a lot of families get to enjoy these great events. So wonderful to see this move forward. I will be in support. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that carries 2-0. Congratulations, sir. With that, we're going to move on to our next item, which is item 2E, and that's 1433 Lake Gulch Road, Gillies Pumpkin Patch, major event, entertainment event, project file EE 2025-008. Trevor Bedford, senior planner, presenting for staff. Hey, Trevor.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Trevor Bedford, representing Planning Services. The request is for a major entertainment event at 1433 Lake Gulch Road, known as Gillies Pumpkin Patch. The property owners are Krista and Brent Sheffield. The applicant is requesting approval of a major entertainment event known as Gillies Pumpkin Patch, Thursdays through Saturdays over 3 weekends in September and October, specifically September 25th, 26th, 27th, October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and October 9th, 10th, and 11th. The event is proposed to run from 10 a.m. until sunset each day with a maximum attendance of 500 per day. The applicant was approved to operate Gillies Pumpkin Patch in 2023 and 2024 as a minor entertainment event. Due to past success, they wish to expand the event to a maximum of 500 guests over 9 days. The intent of the major entertainment event process is to provide for the orderly control of entertainment events. Major entertainment events are defined as one-day event in excess of 500 persons or a multi-day event in excess of 7 days and 300 persons per day. These are allowed in the LRR zone district on properties with an established principal use. Requests for major events are reviewed by the Board of County Commissioners. Major events are reviewed by referral agencies and the public, after which mailed notice of the public meeting is sent to abutting landowners. Following the board's decision on the application, entertainment events will require additional work by the applicant to acquire permits, approvals, licenses, and other inspections set forth in the conditions of approval. The events cannot commence until all of these items are finalized. No public comment was received on this application. Referral agency comments focused on traffic concerns from the Sheriff's Office in the town of Castle Rock. The applicant did work with the Sheriff's Office to address the concerns, and they will be placing right turn only signage at the end of their driveway. The project is located on the west side of Lake Gulch Road, approximately 500 feet north of its intersection with Crystal Valley Parkway. This is within the Castle Rock Municipal Planning Area of the Comprehensive Master Plan. This map shows the zoning in the area. Directly to the west is the Crystal Valley subdivision within the town of Castle Rock. Other abutting properties are agricultural and large rural residential. And this aerial depicts the site. This exhibit shows the entrance, parking, and loading areas on site. The event will be accessed via an existing driveway off of Lake Gulch Road. Parking will be accomplished on site in mowed areas. This exhibit shows the event layout. The event will include children's activities such as pumpkin painting, face painting, a corn pit, pumpkin toss, a maze, cornhole, a playground, and pedal carts. Food, including cotton candy, jam, caramel apples, cookies, popcorn, and other concessions will be available for sale by the property owner. The property owner may use an additional food vendor on site. All food vendors will be required to provide proof of appropriate licensing prior to operating. The pumpkin patch will be primarily operated by members of the household. However, if necessary, a maximum of 3 part-time employees may be hired. No construction or grading is proposed, and no lighting or amplified sound will be used. This slide lists the approval standards for major entertainment events. Staff's assessment of these standards are discussed in the staff report on pages 5 and 6. Staff has evaluated the application in accordance with Section 22B of the Douglas County Zoning Resolution. No residents have expressed concerns with the events, and right turn only signage will be placed at the end of the driveway for exiting traffic. Should the board find that the application complies with all approval standards, staff proposes the following conditions for inclusion in the motion. Condition number 1, the major entertainment event permit is approved for events from September 25th through 27th, October 2nd through 4th, and October 9th through
Trevor,
11th.
it's not going to be necessary for you to read those conditions verbatim unless my colleague needs those.
Sure.
I don't think we need those.
Sure.
Appreciate that.
These are conditions 2nd through 4th. This is condition number 5. And this shows the zoning resolution section on the entertainment event. That concludes my presentation, and the applicant is available as well.
Great. Thank you, Trevor. Any questions of staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I do have one question, which is during your presentation, you said they would be limited to 3 employees. I wonder, in perhaps it's ignorance on my part, but why would the county require them to limit the number of employees that they're able to hire?
So we didn't necessarily limit them. We just ask that in any event, any entertainment event, they specify if they'll have employees, how many, just to kind of account for the overall impact, and they said 3. But they could maybe address that a little more if they'd like.
Yeah, because I do foresee a circumstance where attendance in those, is higher than it has been in years past. It's a fast-growing part of our community. Very popular event. I could see the need for more than 3 employees with a maximum of 500 guests. So
Sure.
I would hate to limit them in their ability to hire an additional employee or 2.
Sure. I don't think it would be an issue to remove that.
I would support my colleague. I don't think artificial conditions that might limit their ability to employ folks that are necessary, I'm not sure that would be super helpful, so I would support that being removed. The applicant doesn't need to make a presentation, but they're certainly welcome to if you want to approach the podium and state your name and where you're from.
I'm Krista Sheffield. Thank you, Trevor. I just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate that you brought up the number of employees. We are mostly family run, so which is why we don't really need more employees. It's a pretty small pumpkin patch, but I appreciate that we would have the ability to do more if we did need that. So thank you.
You bet. And Ms. Sheffield, just for the record, are you okay with the other conditions as presented if we make that modification?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me ask any questions for the applicant.
How are the pumpkins coming in this year?
We actually purchase our pumpkins.
Oh, okay.
We're a small farm. We've tried to grow the pumpkins in the past, but we get them from down in Pueblo. So.
Oh, Pueblo pumpkins.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can't grow them in Douglas County?
Oh. Okay.
They don't grow that
all
well
right.
here. I mean, they're
That's
okay, but
probably true.
down south is a little better.
The full honesty. I
Yeah, appreciate the candor.
Yeah.
Any other questions of the applicant? Thank you. Okay, great. So with that, let me open it up for any citizen comment in the room or online with regard to this item. Any citizen comment?
Commissioner, I have no online comment.
Okay, thank you, Troy. So with that, I'll close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion or a motion.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to approve 1433 Lake Gulch Road, Gillies Pumpkin Patch Major Entertainment Event because it does meet all the approved criteria with 5 conditions as presented. Project file EE 2025-008 and as amended by the removal of the maximum employment clause.
Commissioner, thank you for that, and that was a really good catch. I think we want to make sure that our businesses in the community and our families are able to do what they need to do to have successful events, so very supportive of that. I will second that motion and ask for any discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that carries unanimously 2-0. Congratulations. Our final item for today is item F, which is 6359 Airport Road, 5-year Colorado Scottish Festival, major entertainment event, project file EE 2025-007. Once again, Matt Jacobowski presenting for staff.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Matt Jacobowski representing Planning Services. The item before you is a request for a 5-year major entertainment event at 6359 Airport Road for what had been known as the Colorado Scottish Festival and is being rebranded as the Colorado Highland Games, project number EE 2025-007. Heather Miller is here on behalf of the Colorado Highland Games, but also has some other of her organizers with her. And has a presentation if you would like to hear that. The request, a 5-year major entertainment event approval, 2025 through 2029, is proposed in its first year, September 20th and 21st, 2025. The 5-year term would go through 2029. The applicant has indicated that 1,500 persons per day are anticipated, 3,000 for the weekend in the initial stages of the 5-year term, but possibly as things grow, could get up to 2,500 per day by year 5. The festival is 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. with music, cultural activities, Scottish athletics, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday, 9 to 5 Sunday. There is a musical act and a stage on the event grounds, which would be Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. As some background, there have been other major entertainment events on this particular property in the past. There were some music festivals, 2017 through 2019 and 2022. Those received a 1-year major entertainment event. This same event, the Colorado Scottish Festival, now Highland Games, had approvals for single-year major entertainment events 2023 and 2024. Basically, the single-year event is being transferred to this proposal for a 5-year multi-year approval. So the same event activities, the same setup, the same general parking area, and the like is proposed for this 5-year period. The commissioners have now seen the intent and the event requirements for a major event. So again, because this is a 5-year, the board hearing is required. Going into the process, referral comments were generally related to permits, not anything too specialized. The Louviers Village Community Group did provide some comments that indicated some nuisance traffic related to backups on Airport Road and Louviers Boulevard, and then some traffic that perhaps tries to bypass that bottleneck and goes through the village. So they provided some comments indicating that they would object to the 5-year term and they would prefer a 1-year term, especially since there's some other projects in that area that are adding to traffic. So I wanted to mention that there had been some concern from the nearby community group. However, South Metro Fire has approved their special event permit for this process. And the Douglas County Sheriff's Office has also indicated that they'll provide uniform traffic control at Louviers Boulevard and Airport Road, which would alleviate some of those impacts on the community. The applicant actually has effectively the times already set up and an agreement with the Sheriff's Office. They will require some electrical permits with the board, with the county building department, which any food licenses, permits, walkthroughs, and inspections are required prior to the first day of the event. That often happens in the week prior, after there's a board decision. And they would have to do the same thing and get those same permits, go through the same walkthroughs and inspections each year through the 5-year term. So there's a lot of that, but this property is roughly between Louviers and Sedalia in central Douglas County. The site is 170 acres outlined in blue on this property. This is Airport Road, which then turns into Waterton, and here's Louviers Boulevard, here's Highway 85. The site is about a half-mile south of Airport Road. This shows the event grounds. The green area, which is mostly used for polo, is where the event activities would occur. The applicant is proposing approximately 1,600 parking spaces just to the west with a short walk to the event grounds. Airport Road becomes an easement as it gets closer to the site. However, the applicant is, or the property owner, I should say, has easements that allow public events to occur and access to occur for public events over that easement. Here's an exhibit showing the exhibit grounds. Again, 1,600 parking spaces for patrons, a walk to the event activity area. There's a drop-off for taxi or ride share outside of the normal parking area. The applicant can provide some more detail if you'd like on security, but I understand they will have the Sheriff's Office working with them on event security. And of course, the event itself, there's a small stage in the middle with lots of vendor booths, food, and lots of fun things for anyone who goes. Again, the major entertainment event approval standards before you on this slide. And the proposed conditions, which I'm happy to read through them if the board would like, but otherwise I can just show them on the screen as we have here.
We don't need the conditions, right? Thank you, Matt.
Condition number 1, showing conditions number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then before you, of course, the requirement in major entertainment events, which provides direction to the board for their decision. And if the board would like, Heather Miller is here on behalf of the Colorado Highland Games. And the applicant does have a presentation if you'd like, but is able to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions for staff? I have none either. I'm not sure we need an applicant's presentation. You guys look wonderful, and I know it's been a long afternoon. Thank you for waiting and sitting through our very long hearings today. We appreciate that. But you're welcome to come up, and if you want to share anything with us, you're more than welcome to do so.
Mr. Chair, before she prevents, could I just point out to the room and listening audience that we're in the presence of greatness. She is wearing the official state tartan of the state of Colorado, which features our green, the colors that reflect our beautiful state, like our green forests, our blue skies, snow-capped mountains, colorful flowers, the gold, of course, that helped found our state, and the red rocks. It's not every day that we get the official state tartan here in Douglas County. But
That's true, Commissioner. You must have been a state senator or something, right, at some point, maybe? Wow.
I look good in the state tartan, I must say.
I was going to say, I feel very honored to be in your presence.
The glorious tartan.
Oh, I'm a little petite. I'm a wee lass here. Good afternoon. Thank you, commissioners, for having us here today. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Matt, for sharing our slide deck. And let's see, it down. Okay, and the up's the other way. Oh, cool. Okay, thanks. All right, good afternoon. My name's Heather Miller. I am the Games Marshal for our Colorado Highland Games, and a Games Marshal is essentially the event director, committee chair, et cetera, the boss. And we're here today requesting approval for our event as well as a 5-year through 2029 because we go for the long haul. We're the, oh, that's my dad and me. So it runs in the family. We are the St. Andrews Society of Colorado, which is not a religious organization. We are it's the patron saint of Scotland, and we're a nonprofit, entirely volunteer run. It's one of the very few Highland Games that's volunteer run in the country. And our mission is to preserve and share Scottish culture and heritage, of course. The Highland Games are our signature event all year long. It's our largest event. And our motto, is you can be Scottish by birth, by ancestry, or by choice. We get plenty of people in Colorado by choice, but we get all ilks. We've got a wee bit of history. We go back to our first games, which were a family picnic for the society back in 1963. And we've continuously run, except for 1 year, that stinky old pandemic, where we actually held a virtual festival. And then the next year, we were short a little bit of everything, so we missed 2021, actually. But we're back in full force. And we have been partnering with the Denver Polo Club since 2023. Whoop, that was the history. Our highlights, if you might already be familiar with you, so I won't go through all the details, but basically what we try to do is bring Scotland to Colorado and make it easy for people who can't otherwise get there. It's really like going to a big family reunion, even if you don't know anybody. You are welcomed with open arms. There's plenty of people who just say, hey, you're here? That's awesome. As mentioned, we have about 2,000 to 3,000 attendees annually at this point. Years ago, when we were at Highlands Ranch, we had upwards of 12,000 and 14,000 for our games. It pales a little bit in comparison to some other games, but it's pretty good for Colorado. We're currently at about 1,000 to 1,500 per day, and as it mentioned, expect to grow. The largest event that's been held previously at the Polo Club has been 6,000 in 1 day. So we've got a ways to go to get that big. I think there's plenty of room to grow, but we definitely like to emphasize the cultural experience. There are economic benefits, of course, that we're bringing to the county as we have vendors, the community. We help a lot of small businesses and other nonprofits. This is their biggest event of the year in many cases. And we've been very fortunate this year, after some hard work, to receive a substantial grant from the SCFD as well as a couple of other foundations. So we're getting some really good support. Just briefly, I won't go through all the details, but we have a very thorough operations and safety plan that we submit and coordinate with all of the departments and safety and emergency services that we hire for the event. And let's see, yeah, that's pretty much it. Planning and coordination. We have been closely coordinating, especially after we got the comments from the referral period, about the impact of increased traffic in the area. And we're very sensitive to that. Everybody lives in a part of town that you don't want to be overwhelmed when special events are happening. But we work closely with the Sheriff's Office on the traffic control, and they've been very responsive. We're excited to have them this year for 24/7 security. And that is so, that was at the recommendation of the Sheriff's Office because they felt it would be helpful and important to be present and have have that response time rather than having to call out after with private security. Everything is scaled to what we're doing and what our attendance is, and we've got our permits almost all finalized. I did want to specifically mention the Louviere's concerns, and as I said, we are working with the Sheriff's Office. We update our traffic plan every year. We're going to monitor very closely to make sure that there's not a noise impact or keep it as minimal as possible, but certainly within the noise ordinances. And we want to discourage that cut-through traffic because people can speed and they don't realize they're going through a small town, that they're just trying to move the traffic. But the impact from the greater developments or the other developments that are going on in the area, I'm sure is something that the commissioners and the county will consider as the area grows. And we'll do everything within our power to make sure that our event is not seriously impacting. And and as I said, we're working with the Sheriff's Office on that. Just some more maps on our placement. We're just finalizing those and the signage that we do put out there. One of these years we'll get some signage out on C470, but for the moment we keep it to the side roads, and it's just directing traffic so folks know they're going to the right place. We are discussing with the Sheriff's Office on whether to put up physical barriers on Louviere's Boulevard and on either end to discourage that cut-through traffic. More signage. So ultimately, we're requesting our 5-year authorization with your blessing. We're looking at, we've got our calendar out through 5 years and actually beyond. We time our event against others so that we're not competing, and so that folks who are interested in the Scottish side of life can come to our event. And we are way ahead of sales and really looking at folks who are very interested in this particular weekend. So it's been a good move from the hot August weekend into September, cooler weather and all that wool. We will continue, of course, to comply with all requirements on inspections and permits. I don't see any issues with that. We're really good at our logistics and structuring that follow-up. The benefits, as I've mentioned here on the slide, are basically the 5-year plans reduce all this repetitive reviews and publications and time, and keep people's workloads a little bit lighter. It gives something predictable for the neighbors, so we like to have that stability. And you can do your long-term planning, of course, and people do. We have to plan out years in advance to get some of the musical acts that we want to get as well. So thank you. Slán Siomh is our Gaelic words for thank you. We've worked with you in the past. We've been real appreciative of your support, and I would like to mention that many Highland games around the country have closed permanently, but our games have survived and thrived thanks to your support, our incredible volunteers, the communities that want us to keep coming back, and your approval allows us to bring this unique cultural event and preserve one of the longest-running cultural events of its kind in the United States. So I appreciate your time. Thank you, and let me know if you have any questions.
Well, thank you so much for that presentation. And in addition to the perfect attire from all of you, I certainly have a very special place in my heart, which you wouldn't guess from looking at me, but my mom is Scottish and Irish with a little German sprinkled in, and we went to the Highland Heritage Scottish-Irish Festival every year in Estes Park growing up, and the second the bagpipes would play, the tears would come down for my mom. So had a lot of good memories, and I know from firsthand experience how significant folks in this particular culture and playing these games, what that brings to citizens. It really is quite special. Thanks for sharing that history with us, too.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Let me ask if there's any questions. I don't have any questions either. Are there any citizen comments either in person or online with regard to this item?
Thank you, Commissioner. I have no online comment.
Okay, seeing that, we'll go ahead and close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion or a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve 6359 Airport Road 5-year Colorado Scottish Festival major entertainment event because it does meet all the approved criteria with the 8 conditions as presented. This is project file EE 2025-007.
007, very good. I will accept that motion, and before I second it, let me just ask the applicant, sorry to make you get up and down, do a little jig here. Are you okay with the 8 conditions as presented?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to confirm that on the record. I'll go ahead and second that and then call for any discussion. I would be remiss if I didn't also acknowledge a friend of the county and a wonderful family, the Gandam-Carr family, for being here. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate all the great events that you bring to Douglas County. It's really special for us. With no further discussion, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that is approved unanimously. Congratulations. So with that, our next land use meeting public hearing will be held on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025 at 2:30 p.m. We are adjourned.